Boston Bruins win 2-1 in a very tight Saturday night game against the Detroit Redwings, or at least it was for 40 minutes, and then Boston kind of pulled away in the third there in the way of shots. I'm not going to complain about this game. This was a beautiful game all around, and arguably one of their best defensively. And that's something that this team has struggled with throughout this season. Now, obviously, once again, offense not putting up the numbers that you would expect or want them to do, but I'm not going to complain about that one. When you're so close to a playoff spot, obviously you need all the points you can get right now, and that's exactly what they did. Here were the lineups once again for tonight's game. And yeah, gonna send it over to myself for the first period report. First period was fairly low event hockey. A combined 12 shots between both teams. Detroit outshot Boston 8-4, but the score ended up at 1-1 at the end of it. Each team was assessed one penalty in the period, both of which were pretty fair, to be honest. Boston got theirs on the power play. Detroit got theirs with 58 seconds left. The coaching improvements seem to have worked, or the coaching change seems to have worked so far. However, I would still like to see them not get scored on in the final minute of a frame. But as for the Boston goal, Tyler Johnson takes a beautiful shot, bounces off of Justin Brezzo, who's out in front, tips it in off Mo Sider, and scores. That was about halfway through the frame. Detroit got their power play shortly after that as well. And then, Detroit got their goal back. Mo Sider up to Vladimir Tarasenko, who took it from the neutral zone deep into the Boston zone, sends it out front to Lucas Raymond, and takes a point-blank slap shot. I mean, good players beat good goalies sometimes, and that's exactly what happened on that play. Nothing you can really ask of Swayman. And yeah, that's going to do it for the first period recap. Second period starts fairly slow pace to start it, but once it got going, it got fairly aggressive for a kind of meaningless Boston-Detroit game. Again, each team not really putting up a ton of shots. 8 shots for Detroit, 10 shots for Boston. Both goalies look strong, other than the 1 goal apiece they each gave up. Both are looking good. Boston took two penalties in this one. I mean, at least they shut them out, and on the power play at least, so far. Special teams is definitely looking better, and might very well be the reason they win this game, if they go on to do so. Detroit took had one power play in this period. Again, nothing doing with it. Both goalies look sharp heading into the third period. Let's see where this goes. Third period starts, and it's all gas, no brakes for the Boston Bruins. 13-4 were the shots in favor of Boston. 1 power play for Detroit, which Boston promptly shut down, while Detroit was up 6-4 on the 2-man advantage with the goalie pulled. And Brad Marchand, who couldn't seem to buy one in the game against Utah earlier this week, gets the game winner in this one in what was just a beautiful play by him. He sneaks around the net with Pasternak up at the point, sends it down to Andrew Peeke. Andrew Peeke finds Marchand right in front of the net, and just rips it top shelf. No chance for Cam Talbot to stop that one. And that puts the Bruins up 2-1 midway through the third period. And that is how it stayed for the rest of this game, really. Beautiful game by the team. Great team defense all around. And something that this team hasn't done a lot of. They've now limited two teams who are meant to be fairly good to very few shots over these past two games. Now, does this mean anything when they play a team like the Leafs, like the Jets, like the Panthers? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Only test is to actually face those three teams, plus whoever else you consider to be top tier. No complaints there. Swayman looked incredibly crisp. Only faced 19 shots, but sometimes you're going to have an easier workload than others. Obviously gave up the one goal. You're going to give up a goal every once in a while. No complaints there. And, yeah, 2 points is 2 points against Detroit. Next game is against the Canucks on Tuesday. And this is a very awkward stretch of games for the Bruins, where they kicked off 5 games alternating home and away. So, definitely this is going to be a long travel week. And this might be a very good test. Obviously not against the best teams, seeing as it's Utah, Detroit, and Vancouver so far. But 2 points is 2 points. Got to get back up in that playoff fight, and that's exactly what this team is proving that you can do. As for that, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Click like if you like. Click subscribe if you really liked. 2-0 in the Joe Sacco era.